Welcome back, everyone, to Get Your Geek On. That's Aaron. I'm Robert, and we are here today. We're trying out some new things in 2021.
7 days in.
And so this is our new segment, which is going to be Hogwarts
House of Heroes.
Of Heroes, right? Hogwarts House of Heroes.
House of Heroes.
All right. So
the 3 H's.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun with this segment. And basically what this is we want to lean into a little bit of both of our strengths.
Yep.
So I am definitely a Harry Potter nerd or geek, if you will. I love pretty much everything to do with the Harry Potters. I love the books mostly. The movies are pretty good as well. But really big, steeped into that. I've read the Harry Potter books a bunch of times. Really into that. Whereas you come from kind of a comic superhero background. You're really into all of those comic characters and things like that. So we thought it would be fun to put together something where you describe a character from the comics, whether it could be hero, it could be villain, we don't know, but it's a character from the comics. You describe a lot about who they are or a lot of their traits, and then I, in true Harry Potter fandom, I get to sort them into one of the Hogwarts houses. So we've got Hogwarts House of Heroes, where you're going to tell me all about a specific comic character, then I'm going to eventually put them into a house, and then we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not I made the right choice. So
I like that idea. I like this idea. I really, like you said, I love it playing both of our strengths.
I have a little bit of fun, and you can definitely let us know in the comments. Did Aaron describe a character accurately? Did he get everything he was supposed to? And did I put him in the right house? So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We want your participation as well. So make sure you comment below.
So what I did to describe was I'm gonna start off a little vague.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to work my way into the definite. Like once I say these kind of things, he's probably gonna know who it is.
Okay. So start more vague, because I don't want to know who the character is
exactly
right off the bat. Okay.
So this character would never be a coward.
Okay. So very brave.
Mm-hmm. He's a very brave one.
Okay. Got that so far.
Try to think of another good one to stay vague with. I'm looking at all my little facts. I wrote a bunch of little facts down.
Yeah.
Another vague one.
How do they interact with people around them? Like, do they treat other people like equally? Do they act as more of like the, I'm better than you? Are they, like how is that?
He would be the one that would take charge.
Okay.
He would jump into a situation and people would look to him for guidance more than likely.
Okay.
He would butt heads with people.
Okay.
So he is very stubborn.
Yeah. Headstrong.
Yep.
Okay.
He gets around by flying, first of all, as well. So he would fly around. Just giving you a power set.
I don't need that. I don't need powers.
All right.
Powers don't matter to the personality. Because that's really what we're looking at, is you're usually sorted by personality. And I will say that most people, and really everyone, has elements of every house within them. So it's about, trying to figure out where you may best succeed.
Okay. That's a good call.
Okay.
So, what's we said?
So very brave, very headstrong, be more of a leader.
Yes.
Okay.
He enjoys being in the skies. He enjoys always kind of just not being to himself, but again, like enjoys that like me time, like flying around, like, okay, this is always deep in thought, I would say.
Okay.
Always
deep in thought.
Questioning if he's doing. Now, I will say he does question a lot if he does the right things, but because of that questioning, he always chooses what's right. But he is always very much like, this is what I'm going to do. I hope I did the right thing, but I'm going to keep my strong will, and I'm going to keep doing the right thing.
Okay.
I'm going to stay headstrong with that.
Yep. Strong sense of moralism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else he would be like. So, butt heads, leader, not a coward. So, I'm trying to think where else I can go with him, because his personality is kind of rounding out. I would say one bad thing about him, which this one might throw you off a little bit, is he has potential to go to the dark side and has done it a few times. And when he goes dark, he goes very, very dark. And I mean, like, I'll go murder everybody dark.
Sure. So he's got that that a little bit of that sense of, if I think I'm right, I'll do whatever it takes, no matter the consequences.
Pretty much, or because of the pain he felt, he will do whatever it takes to get it back. At no cost. That's the better version of it, is if he loses something, if I have to kill 5 people to get that back, I might kill 5 people to get that back.
Okay.
It kind of rounds him out a little bit.
So, I mean, a lot of what you're describing fits into Gryffindor. Being very brave, being, headstrong. They are certainly people that, if they think they're right, they'll do that. Certainly that last bit feels a little bit more Slytherin-y, which is like at all costs, I will get what I need and I'm not going to worry about anyone else so much. But I think generally, I mean, I think if it's the Sorting Hat and you're going with their most frequent impulses, and you're looking at where they're going to fit in best, I think Gryffindor comes to mind the most.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you would follow there more.
So what character are we talking about here?
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
Ah, okay.
I threw out Will out there. I don't know if I was like, let's see if he catches it, because I was like the Will part. And so for comic buffs, real quick, Hal Jordan is very stubborn.
Yep.
He is very strong-headed. But a lot of people do look to him for guidance because he ends up being the leader most of the times.
I mean, Gryffindor, the trait most associated with Gryffindor is bravery.
Which you have to be with Green Lantern. So
as soon as you throw that in there as, they're... And really, with Green Lantern, that's a choice he has to make a lot of the times, is to choose to be brave.
Yep.
And so, I feel like this is one where he definitely is a Gryffindor.
Yes.
If you had told me, like, if you hadn't described him and you just said Green Lantern, what house does he fit in? I would say Gryffindor.
Still Gryffindor. Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, Hal has gone dark. He went to a very dark place when they blew up Coast City. He literally started killing other Green Lanterns to essentially get enough power to recreate Coast City. He has gone into the Spectre, which is this entity who doesn't really... I never say he's evil or good, because, he's kind of like a Grim Reaper, I guess is the best way. He's not evil. He's just has a job to do.
Yeah, and like Gryffindors aren't necessarily nonviolent or anything like that. Like, they will do what it takes, and they have a strong moralistic code that they'll follow. And if they think that this is the right thing to do, then they'll do it. So I feel pretty strongly.
I think that's a good one. I don't know a lot about Harry Potter, but I know a little bit about each house, because I think you and I have like 2 or 3 other hardcore Harry Potter. Like, all y'all are hardcore Harry Potter fans.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't know any non-hardcore Harry Potter fans. Like, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you are a Harry Potter fan. But you're not a Harry Potter fan. Like, that's...
You're right. I think anyone who jumps in that world, like, jumps in feet first, learns everything, and it's like, oh, okay. Because, like, it's you, and I have 2 other friends who are like, oh, yeah, and they'll just go off on Harry Potter. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I watched the movie because I was talking to this girl, and that's all I know. It's all I remember from it.
So we got one down. Are we going to do 2?
You want to do another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
I have one I haven't written down, but I want to. I'm going to describe him. Let me see if I can keep him vague enough. So he, let's see, where should I put him? Very, very stubborn.
Okay.
Always believes he's doing the right thing no matter what. Doesn't mind the cost, even if it's that people hate him to do the right thing, but he still believes he's doing the right thing. He is very black and white.
Okay.
He's felt a lot of pain in his life, and that's kind of what feeds everything.
Okay.
Gosh, he's very easy to describe like that. Trying to think of anything else like really important about him.
So what is he most passionate about? Is he passionate about like inflicting his will on other people, like everyone else needs to agree with him? Is he confident to be a loner? Does he want to continue learning about everything? Like, he
is a loner.
Okay.
He works alone pretty much exclusively.
Okay.
He is also judge, jury, and executioner kind of mentality.
Okay.
People want to aspire to be him, but he doesn't want anyone to do that. He doesn't want to be inspiration.
Okay, so I already know who this is.
I think so. I think that was it, and I think I hit it too close on that.
Yeah.
I think does that sound about right? If you think you know who it is,
so would you say that revenge drives him?
Yes.
That
strongly.
He, as you said, sees things in very black and white.
Yes.
And he is, willing to, make the hard choices that he thinks no one else is willing to make.
Yes. 100%. I think you already know who it is. I can already tell.
Yeah, it's the Punisher.
Yeah, it's the Punisher. It's Frank. It is Frank Castle all the way.
Frank Castle.
Once I said the judge, jury, and execution, I was like, that's going to get it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say Frank is actually really hard to sort.
That's why I figured I'd throw that out, because...
Yeah, I mean, so, number one, he's not Ravenclaw. That's very easy to say. And that's not to say that he's not intelligent, but a Ravenclaw, like their whole thing is the pursuit of knowledge is the most important thing.
Which he doesn't care about.
No, that's not Frank.
I mean, he has morals though, because he won't kill children. He'll never hurt like military or cops, stuff like that.
So yeah, I mean, Frank is tough.
It's that black and white, I would think, wasn't it? Because he's so one or the other.
I mean, but there's a lot of... That's the thing is like that doesn't necessarily fit into any particular Hogwarts house. I mean, that's just some people see things more black and white than others. Because I mean, I would say both Gryffindor and Slytherin have a lot of like black and white characteristics.
But he still fights for justice.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, again, this is really hard, but I think revenge is born out of love and loyalty.
Right, because he's doing it for his family that was murdered by the mob.
And so,
or if you watch the other ones,
I'm almost leaning towards Hufflepuff because, like, that is their overriding characteristic is loyalty. And so even though like revenge is what drives Frank, it's not that he's not doing it for a personal agenda. Or that he hates people, like, because that would be like Slytherins. A lot of the times, what they're doing is it's very personal. It's narcissistic, and I wouldn't say that Frank is narcissistic necessarily. Like at times, he is doing things from a personal motive, but a lot of times he thinks this is the best way to take out evil.
And while you say that too. Did you watch the Punisher show, the series?
Yeah.
I think that what you just said right there fits in one scene where the girl shoots the guy and he's choking on his own blood, I believe, and he's dying. And she's like, I killed him. He's like, no, you didn't. Bam, boom, kills her. I killed him. And he takes responsibility for it, so she doesn't have to. And I think what you said right there, that's a Frank trait.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna lean into Hufflepuff, like, and that's like I don't think that I would have necessarily landed on that just as immediate reaction, but the Sorting Hat sometimes takes a little bit longer.
Yep.
Sometimes they know right away, and sometimes they got to think a little bit. And so in this case, the more I think about Frank, the more I think that he is ultimately he's got traits really of every house except maybe Ravenclaw, which again we talked about. That's not unusual to have traits of various houses, but I think the overriding one of like that loyalty, I think he's like a Griffin Puff. It's like
Griffin Puff.
He's got
just jump to house to house.
Yeah, he's Hufflepuff. I think is where I would put him. So maybe a Huffindor, but I think Hufflepuff. I think that's where I would put him.
I mean, I think that would make sense because yes, he is very loyal. Once he makes an alliance with like one of the heroes, he doesn't really mess with them too much. He usually kind of, keeps out of the way. With like Captain America, there's a scene where he actually upsets Captain America and Captain America starts fighting him and Punisher puts his hands down and he will never raise a hand to Captain America. Even when he's getting his ass kicked, Frank will never, ever do it. Frank will never touch Captain America because he respects him so much.
Yeah.
Frank doesn't want anyone to be like him, where you have other villains, or not other villains, but like the regular person in the comic is like, oh, I want to be like you. He's like, don't be like me. Don't do it. Because he doesn't want that.
Even just driving back to that same scene where he took the responsibility of killing someone away from Karen is saying, I don't want you to be like me. Or it wasn't Karen.
It was the girl that he was protecting.
Yeah. It's, I don't want you to have to live with the things I live with.
Yeah.
Because it does torture him that he has done some of these things. But he's willing to take that. He's willing to pay that price. So that's where I really do feel like, that kind of sense of protectiveness of other people.
Because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want you to feel it. He's killing these mob people so no one else has to go through that.
Right.
Because in his mind, if I kill all the mob, then that's never going to happen again.
Right.
But yeah, it still does, Frank. Just to let you know. But I like that. I like that you went to. I would never have picked Hufflepuff. I honestly, knowing very little on Harry Potter, I would have gone Slytherin just because they're evil. I always feel like,
but they're not. But they're not. Like, that's the thing, is like people have that misconception about Slytherin, which is partially set up by the books, is that, you know, they kind of talk about, well, all the bad witches and wizards came out of Slytherin, which is just not, it's not, first of all, it's not true, because there are other witches and wizards that didn't come out of Slytherin that we know of. On top of the fact that, you know, like, there is a very simplistic approach to the Hogwarts houses, which the books kind of all, you know, give you. But as you delve more and more into, you know, the Harry Potter lore, they're not simplistic because people aren't simplistic.
Exactly.
And so, you know, and they even explore that in one of the later books where, you know, one of the characters who was a Slytherin kind of, you know, is made some personal courageous decisions, that bravery aspect, and it's, you get that, you know, maybe we sort too soon, we sort too early, and you know, you really, maybe you shouldn't have been a Slytherin kind of thing. So that's one of those things that, you know, I always kind of look at. The houses are, they're a little bit of a guideline, but they're not necessarily, you know, they don't determine your fate.
Yeah.
And it's not as cut and dried. It's not as simple as just saying, well, you're this, and so because you're a Gryffindor, you have to be brave.
Yeah.
I mean, there are characters who don't display courage or bravery a lot, who are Gryffindors, but it's maybe that one moment that, you know,
one chance.
Yeah, I mean,
it
is that, you know, did you take your one chance to show your bravery, to
be
show
everything you ever wanted?
Yeah. So, I don't know that I would have expected Frank to end up in Hufflepuff either, but he did. And so let us know in the comments, did I get it right?
Yeah.
Is Frank a Hufflepuff, or would he kill me just for saying that?
He might just for saying it, might be like, I don't, he might just say,
I don't get
and then just put a bullet in you. I mean, but let us know, like Robert
probably
said.
not, because he really only kills people that are evil.
No,
And
I mean,
don't
and as
know.
long as you don't do anything bad, he won't kill you.
Cool.
But yeah, let us know what, like Robert said, let us know below in the comments. What house do you think Frank belongs to? Because again, yes, he does murder, but it is, Robert is right. It is out of the love for his family. The loss of them is why he has that revenge, just like somebody like Batman.
Yeah.
And again, he does have a very strong sense of right and wrong. You know, this is right, this is wrong.
Yep.
So let us know what you think below. Stay tuned the rest of the week, guys, for anything else that we post. And of course, next week, of course, we're going to do these little bite-sized segments every week, every day. Let us know what you think. And of course, guys, stay geeky and get your geek on.